We need different tools to perform different tasks. Untools has thinking tools and frameworks to help you understand systems, make decisions, and solve problems. How cool is that? Whenever we look at something, there's always things that are immediately obvious and things that are definitely not obvious. So the iceberg helps us uncover the causes of events that happen by looking at stuff that's beyond the immediately obvious. We can break it up into 4 parts. Events, as in what is happening right now. Patterns, or what has been happening over time. Structure, or what is it that influences these patterns. And finally, we have mental models. What values, beliefs, and assumptions shape the system? Once we answer these questions, this will help us get a deeper look at whatever situation we're facing and help us understand why things are as they are. As the name suggests, it balances. Therefore, it resists further change in any direction. This has 3 components: the goal or the desired level, the actual level, and the gap between these 2 levels. When a gap appears between the actual level and the desired level, the mechanism works to close this gap. A simple example of this mechanism in work is a thermostat. If the temperature goes above or below what our desired level is, the thermostat will work to correct that to bring it back to where it needs to be. A reinforcing feedback loop basically amplifies the effect of whatever's happening. The loop usually has 2 variables which reinforce each other, and sometimes there are some external factors that affect it as well. A good example of this is compound interest. 2 variables here are your account balance and how much interest you earn. And the external factor is the interest rate. So the interest that you earn, once you put that back into your account, you earn even more interest on that. So the effect is compounded. That's basically how this loop works. And as a result, the effects of the reinforcing feedback loop are usually exponential. The 6 thinking hats is a concept designed by Edward de Bono to look at problems from multiple different perspectives. Each hat represents one way of thinking. The yellow hat represents positivity, so you look at the possible benefits and opportunities that this decision could create. The green hat is for creativity, so basically let your mind run free when thinking from the green perspective. The red hat is for emotions, so you should think how you feel about making this certain decision. The white hat is for data, so basically you want to look at the cold, hard facts. Black represents the downside, so you want to imagine the worst case scenario, what's the worst that could happen. And finally, the blue hat is used to control the process, basically take control of the meeting to make sure that you're making progress. How to use second-order thinking. In simple terms, it's considering the long-term consequences of the decisions you make now. And to make decisions that will stand the test of time, we need to use this process. So it's pretty simple. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Consider a decision that you have to make. Step 2. Consider the consequences of that decision in the next 10 minutes, 10 months, and finally 10 years. That's it. Simple as that. US President Dwight D. Eisenhower designed the Eisenhower matrix to help you understand which tasks to carry out first. Draw out 4 boxes like this, and we have urgency on the top and importance on the left. You'll end up with 4 quadrants, and here's how you decide. If it's urgent and important, do it now. If it's important but not urgent, schedule it for later. If it's urgent but not important, delegate it to someone else. And finally, if it's not urgent and not important, just don't do it. The Ishikawa diagram was designed by a Japanese professor named Kaoru Ishikawa, and it helps you in finding out the root causes of the problems that you're facing. So how do you use it? Define the problem that you're facing and draw a line next to it. Along that line that you just drew, list all the factors that could be causing this problem. Ask, why is this happening for each of the factors, and plot the answer as a line under the factor. And finally, analyze the diagram to understand the problem better. Inversion is used to view a problem from a different perspective. Here's how you use it. Ask yourself, what would be the worst decision in this situation? Then figure out why it's bad. and write down all the reasons. Think what would be a good solution based on all the reasons you just wrote down that would make it a bad decision or a bad solution. Abstraction laddering is something that can help you frame your problems a little bit better. The process is actually quite simple. So to get more problem statements, you're gonna ask why questions. And to go more towards the solution, you're gonna ask how questions. Here's an example of how you use this. Let's say our problem statement is, we need to design a better can opener. So if we ask why questions, we can say, for example, to get soup out of the can. And if we were to ask a how question, the answer could be make it more appealing. And that's it. Follow Nawvel for more content like this.